Now, let's talk about you now. How did you get involved with sports martial arts? Is there a story you'd like to share?
Sure. And so the first thing I'll say, and it's no problem. Um, so if you can actually find this, and I will probably send it to you or your mom in a link. So sport martial arts, because this is one of Nick's favorite. There's a compilation he made of me saying sports martial arts with an S on it. I was at the Diamond Nationals. I interviewed Raymond Daniels, Jack Felton, Cameron Dawson, so on and so forth. And he just put that sports all the way in the end. And I was like, okay, I got it. I remember there's no S, no problem. I'll take care of it.
Okay, let's have fun and get to know a little bit more about you with some of Spirit's just curious questions.
All right.
What would you say is the most important problem to solve in our world today and why?
I would say hunger. Anytime that anyone on this planet goes to bed hungry, it's a crime. We have so much available planet wise that we should be able to feed. And addition to hunger goes into housing. Everyone, everyone should be
Yeah,
able to have a place to something to eat and a place to sleep.
definitely. I completely agree. And if you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, doesn't matter, who would they be and why?
So I tried to not think of this too much in advance. The first name I came up was with Dr. Martin Luther King. Uh, I would. It's tough because you would be talking to him and saying, "Hey, you changed the world. You were just a regular, everyday person. How does it feel to change the world? What was your vision? Were you ever scared? You were ever
Yeah,
discouraged?" Asking everyone because historical figures, we always see the end result of what they did. This person was brave and they did this, that, and the other. And sometimes you have to ask them, like, "Hey, man, when they were shooting at you, were you scared?" And of course I was. I was wondering if this was the right move the entire time, and to have someone be real with you. So MLK
yeah,
would be one. I would have to say Bruce Lee. I have to
yeah.
definitely go back to someone that I think all of us, look up to, and to hear his, as he was a philosophy major in college, to hear his philosophy on the martial arts. And he would be someone I would love, if it was possible for him to look at the martial arts today and to get his take on things, and to hear what he has to say about the explosion and the availability for any and everyone to learn not only whatever martial art they want, but you can teach it to everyone.
Yeah.
The third one, if I had, and I'm not taking any more time to think about this because I want to answer fresh. uh, I'm going to go obscure. I would love to talk to any of my grandfathers because I've never met them. They all passed away. And I would love to talk to them about, hey, when you were doing this, what did you do? Because we can learn a lot from our relatives, especially those who have lived it, to help us live better and hopefully have better lives. There would be so much to learn. I mean, if you can imagine right now, we're living through time right now that there would be someone, maybe a grandchild of yours, or grandniece, or grandnephew, or someone descendant of yours in the future, that would wonder what you were like. You
Yep.
know, through the magic of things like this, we'll have video and everything else, and there's pictures. But you would, if someone that you may not live long enough to talk to them, they could kind of come back and say, "Oh, these are videos of your great grandmother. Oh, wow, that's cool. I
Yeah.
never, or the idea that that ancestor that lived 100 years before me, that they would be interested in me, like you're wondering what their daily life is. They probably had no idea, or had no possible idea, that people would want to trace back their family roots to know where you came from, where you lived, what your daily life was like. They were just trying to live life just like we're trying to live it, not thinking that someone, a future relative, would want to know more about them.
Definitely. And can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight to you?
um I'm trying to think of a specific situation, but I always like this quote, which is, so when you find out that it's hard, what you do next is going to prove who you are as a person. There have been many decisions, whether they're financial, whether they're educational, whether it's just a person that that, okay, I've got to do something that's going to be hard next. Immediately there's fear about whatever the situation is. If you're thinking that, oh, I don't want to go through that. That's going to be embarrassing. That's going to be tough. Anything can happen. Maybe it's a situation at your job. Maybe you saw someone that was they were stealing. They were doing something, and you're like, do I say something? What do I do? And you know that the conversation you have next is going to be difficult. uh, I believe that actually through the martial arts and discipline and everything, it kind of prepares you for that to do something that's difficult and to stick through it. Um, that's a lesson that has come from life, from ROTC, from martial arts. It's it's always difficult, and it's something that no matter what the situation is, you carry it through. You be direct, you be honest, and that will say a lot about you to someone else that maybe have not even met you or know you as a person.
Yeah, definitely. And now this is actually one of my favorite questions
Right?
today. But what would your pets say about you if they could talk?
They would say that I don't share enough food with them. Uh, here's a good story about these. If you guys have watched virtual tournaments, I have three Jack Russells. Sometimes they're in the room with me, sometimes they're not. I got an ankle injury playing soccer last year, and I was home by myself. Nobody else was here, and I got the injury. I continued playing the game because I'm hard headed, and we were short people. And I remember leaving the field, and the field was nice and flat. When I was trying to walk on any uneven surface, I had tremendous pain. I mean, my foot was throbbing. I just knew I had broken something
Yeah.
bad. I remember calling my mother when I was driving home, just like, I just need to talk to me. My foot's in tremendous pain. And I had made dinner for myself before going. It was a late game and I wanted to have dinner ready. So I started to eat. I managed to limp my way in the house, crawl my way up to the steps, and I was starving. I was eating. And because the pressure was so much on my ankle, I started to get lightheaded. I need to lay down and put my foot up. So I remove myself from the kitchen and come and lay down on the couch and get my foot elevated before I pass out. And one of my dogs came over and said, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Okay." And then I hear this jingling, and I look up, and the other dog is jumping on the table eating my food. So it's nice to know that if I'm over here dying, that one dog is going to be right at my side, the other's going to be, I'm getting what I can get right now because I'm unsupervised. So my pets would say he needs to share more people food with us because it's delicious.
Terrible, but in the best way possible. Just one dog will be there for me if I'm dying. The other one will be like in my fridge, right? Like
That's
getting
it.
whatever they can
She's
get.
going to town. Like, oh, thank you, Lulu. Appreciate it. As she winks at me from the bed.
I love when animals just look back at you and are just like, "What?
What?
What did I do? Are you talking about me? Did
Why
I
are you
say?"
surprised? Come on, you know what you know what was this is like when you got into it. Why are you surprised?
Yeah, that's exactly the look. And what movie, no matter how many times you've seen it, do you have to watch when it's on?
Back to the Future.
That
I
was just
had
a
that one
solid answer.
right there, right in the quiver. For me, it's a movie that is because everyone's always wondered what if, and realistically speaking, if I came here and said, okay, or no, don't tell anyone, but I can send you back in time and you can make a different choice if you want to. Are you curious? Would you like to see your mom at your age? Would you like to see your dad?
Yeah,
These curious situations. And I think that most people will be like, yeah, I want to go back and see. Or uh, what can I do to make things better? Should
yeah,
I have done A or B? And or how one decision at one time in your life sets you up for either success or failure. So that movie gives the question there that if you had the chance, would you do it?
yeah. Fun fact, I've actually never seen it. I've
Oh,
never seen Back to the Future.
so it's not often you assign homework on podcasts, but the next time I talk to you, I want to hear that you watch this, and we're going to discuss it.
All right, I'm writing this down because I have a pen here. I have paper.
Yes.
We're just gonna write this down.
There's nothing like panic of knowing that something's due and you have not gotten it done.
Yep.
That is true panic. Sometimes we need that pressure.
Well, exactly. Just that little bit of pressure and that little bit of panic. Sometimes you do your best work when, well, you're panicked.
When you're under the gun, yes, definitely so.
And now describe your life using film titles.
That's a good question. So I've got to come up with give a second. So let's go with the classic Superman because I
Okay.
try to do any and all things. Um, let's see. The Empire Strikes Back because those things always don't work out. There's always something new to figure out. I haven't seen the film yet, but we'll say Uncharted because a lot of times I'm always doing something new and trying to figure it out. And Rudy is a great underdog story. So I think of that for me. I'm short. I'm always trying to compete in this division with the taller people in it. So you've got to have that. I believe I can get it done, even though I'm the underdog. So I'll leave Rudy as my last one.
I would have to agree specifically with that one just because I don't really spar much anymore. I'm getting back into it, I am. But for a while I didn't spar also, though, because it was never fair in my division because just they would do it based on weight, but I would be fighting someone who's like 6 feet tall. Meanwhile, I'm 4 feet. And I'm like, how
how is this fair?
hit my head 3 times and I have to like try and punch upwards so that I'm not hitting you in the thigh.
Yeah, I always taught my students that if you're short, you're always going to be short. So just get used to being the shorter fighter. Just accept it, be with it. So therefore, you use the ability for speed, elusiveness, and everything else. So you highlight that. If you ever needed an example of that, Robbie Lavoie. Look at Rob. Look at the people that Robbie has beaten. Robbie don't care that he's short. And Robbie's one of the only fighters I fought that's shorter than me, which threw me off. Like, wait a minute, I'm taller than Robbie. Hold on, this is timeout. This is new. I have the height advantage. This is different. It threw me off when fighting him. But when you're short, you always know you're going to be short. So accept it and let's move on and do it.
True. Yeah, you figure out ways, and you have to be fast. I definitely think in the sparring, if you're going to be short, you have to be able to be fast. Because in particular, people like to go straight for your head because it's very accessible. And so it's just like, you'll move to the side and people go, boop, boop. It was constant. It was constant. So you figure out ways, hopefully.
I have fingers crossed for you.
Exactly. And now, what would you say is your superpower?
My superpower would be the ability to think on my feet and to provide a solution. As I mentioned before, there are times with SMA that if any of you who never believe this, please come and intern with us one tournament and see what we're doing. Where we're there and it's like, okay, nighttime show is going to begin right now, and nighttime show is going to start in 5 minutes, and we have no internet. Mal, go figure it out. Okay, all right, I'm running. Okay, cable's okay. I'm able to get an IP address. What's going on? And then literally there's like Gabrielle Union. There's Gabrielle walking up there, scary, singing the national anthem, and it's like, got it. Okay, go. And it's a last second fix. This literally happened at the US Open last year. We were trying to get a monitor working because it's easy as we're sitting out there looking at the camera to see a monitor right above you, in the distance so that you could see what's going on. But this monitor wouldn't work. And it was the strangest thing. It was a Westinghouse monitor. Now, once again, pulling the curtain back, I worked at Best Buy for years in Geek Squad. I remember an email that came in that said, we will not accept Westinghouse monitors back because they have a fatal flaw. They say they're on HDMI 1, but they're actually displaying HDMI 2. Send those back to the manufacturers. And as I remembered this, as the national anthem was going on, I said, it's not on 1, it's on 2. Boop. And they got the image, and those guys were able to go in there. And that was another last second fix. And that came from working at a store and remembering this TV had a severe flaw in it. And it just came to me in the last second. I was able to get it fixed, and the show went on.
That genuinely sounds like a movie. Like you know when it's like they're down to the clock and the building's gonna explode or something, and then they remember something that happened years before, and then they're like, right,
this is it. This is it. I got the answer. This happens more times than you ever would know. For those of you that think it's easy that we do what we do, please come. Just sit an hour. Come and see some of this panic-induced thing that we call fun. This is, everyone's like, oh, you went away for the weekend. I was like, I worked the entire time that I was gone, and you had to come up and engineer solutions. So superpower of figuring things out and getting a solution.
Definitely. Okay, this next question is very in depth. Wow, I still can't speak today. There's just like no language today, but okay. You're in a room with 3 light switches, each one of which controls one of 3 light bulbs in the next room. You need to determine which switch controls which bulb. All the lights are off to begin, and you can't see into the other room from the other room. You can inspect the other room only once. How can you find which switches are connected to which bulbs?
Okay, so I've read this and I tried to not think of this on the fly. The first way I dissect that problem is I only have one time of looking into that room.
Yes.
So, assuming that the 3 switches are lined up alongside and there are 3 light bulbs lined up, the best educated guess is that I can turn on 2 of those switches, probably the end ones, and then take my look into the room. With that, I have a better than 50% guessing of seeing which 2 light bulbs are illuminated. If it's the 1, 2 right here, then okay, I know I've got those. So I know that the middle switch operates the third. So I've taken that third light bulb out of the equation.
And that's 50-50.
Now I have 50-50 for the others, and that gives me the best chance. And that's just really literally off the top of my head. I try not to think about this whatsoever to try to come up with a solution.
I just think there's so many answers. Like, just there's so many possibilities on how you could decipher this problem.
Mm-hmm. Right. There are a lot. It's funny because you'll see something like this in an escape room.
Yep.
Which I've been told is good to have me in an escape room. I'm like, I'm not that smart, but maybe we'll come up with an answer.
Now, what is the funniest thing that's happened to you recently?
Oh, I'll give you an example, and I've got video of this. So going back to dogs, Lulu is the middle dog. She is the athlete. She's the athlete. She can catch a ball. She is super fast. She will utilize the bed to kind of parkour and jump up higher. And I was playing around with her, and I was throwing the ball really, really close, maybe 2 feet away, and I'm boom, and she catches it. I say, "This is great. I want to get this in slow motion. Let's boom." And she was boom. And when she catches the ball, she comes back and she'll nudge you the ball so that you can throw it again. And the ball fell off the bed, and I was like, "Hey, you got to go get it." I didn't do that. So she goes and gets it. She nudges it to me, and I throw it to her, and she doesn't open up her mouth. She knows it. It hits me right in the eye, and it's right on camera. And I'm like, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" All right, I get it.
The one time you filmed. Oh,
yep. I believe that you film things, you increase the odds that something like that is going to happen.
Yeah. I can't disagree, because all similar things happen to me when I'm tricking or something. Is I'll do a bunch of flips or whatever, and then my mom's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get one on camera." Face plants, and I'm like,
"Boom!" Like, why? Great. But save that. That's good, but not what I wanted.
Exactly. It's good for blooper reels or just like funny moments, but not for what we're going for.
Exactly.
All right. And now, what's your favorite quote and why?
I Can't Accept Not Trying by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan meant by that quote that I can understand trying and failing, but not trying is something I can't accept. It was, you can find that book. It's a small little coffee table book. It's about that big. And he talks about fear, doubt, failure, and his drive to overall win. And his thing about people just not trying, just like, I'm not going to try. That's the one thing that he just can't accept. And that is the quote and actually the title of the book, I Can't Accept Not Trying.
I really do like that quote. But no, it really is true. Like, it's just, you're gonna fail if you don't try, because you've already failed. Because, well, you didn't try.
Right. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
It's true. It's gonna happen. But failure, as much as we don't like to think about it, is a good teacher. As long as it's not damaging or fatal, you learn a better way. I think it was Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail at inventing the light bulb. All the amount of times he tried to invent it, he says, I just found 700 something, whatever the number was, of ways that it didn't work.
Yep. Now, if in 150 years science fails to save us and all that is left is a book about your life, what would the title be, and what would the blurb tell us about Mallory Woods?
The title would be Failing Up. The continuous reinvention of one person's life and trying to, even though you don't exceed, fail up and be better every time.